Hi. Making a daily video, obviously. And I was thinking about something that I thought actually would be really cool to talk about. Obviously, we all end up being all kinds of different people. But one thing I noticed that I see in a lot of people is if they become a mostly yes person or a mostly no person, and both of them serve an equal purpose. What I mean by that is some people say yes to everything. You could ask them to help you move, they say yes. They want to go to every party. They go on lots and lots of dates, meet a lot of people, and, have an amazing time saying yes to a lot of things. And one of the downsides of that, there's a ton of upsides to that. Saying yes to a lot, you really get to experience life and a lot of things. One of the downsides to that is you end up sometimes being in the habit of saying yes, and you start to say yes to things that you don't know you might not want to be a part of. You might have a fear of missing out. You might think that you'll feel bad if you don't say yes. It's part of you to say yes. And then it's in that vibration that sometimes people can come up to you and say, hey, I need your help with this. And you might not actually hear inside if you actually don't want to do it. You might just go yes because you're scared to not be what you think your identity is, the yes person. You might have a fear of missing out on what that would be like. And you're not aware of your fear of missing out on what happens if you say no, what you get to connect to if you say no. So there's a lot of people that are a yes person. I know that I am definitely more on the yes person side. Or at least I for sure was like 99% a yes person in my 20s and early 30s. And then there's people who are a no person. They say no to a lot of things. They don't want to go be a part of it. They're a lot more internal. And that's great too. They're not actually putting themselves in positions where they come home drunk a lot. They don't have as many regrets as far as, they notice a lot of people that go out and party and come back, and they don't do that. They're more in the no vibe, and they kind of do their own stuff and they kind of close off. Now, sometimes there's a lot of amazing things with that too. They get to have a lot of alone time. They get to meet themselves in a lot of different ways. They get to self-connect. They get to do this, but sometimes they end up closing off the world completely and really saying, I'm going to kind of stay this way and becoming kind of a hermit. And you can probably think to yourself, and some people might go, I'm right in the middle, which is great. The amazing thing is when you can be in the middle. And if you've been much more of a yes person, I want to just tell you about the power of a no. At one point, I was offered a gig, and my agent said no. And then they offered twice as much money, and then my agent said no. Then they offered twice as much money again, and my agent said no. And then they offered again, like 5 times more money on top of that, and my agent said no. And it was crazy because the original number eventually was 10 times bigger. And my agent said, never underestimate the power of a no. And when we say yes to everything all the time, over and over and over, we're just saying yes to this, yes to that. We're saying I'm instantly available. I have, no fee, or I need anything, or I don't have any reciprocation needed. I'm just always there. And sometimes when we have said yes so much in our life, saying no suddenly puts us in a position to actually connect to a part of ourselves we didn't know we have. We get to actually go inward and see there's actually a strength in not going out tonight, in not doing that. For me, I've performed for years and I was always partying with people and going out. So for me, I'm really enjoying the no now and actually meeting myself for the first time. I almost feel like I got to be a comedian before I got to be a person. Now, if you're a no person, you might actually think that you're meeting yourself, but you might actually not be. If you've been a no person your whole life, it might be time for you to say yes, because what we're really here to do is let go of part of our old story, is just mix it up, is to see what happens if we do something different than we've been and done to prove to ourselves that we're not that old story. So if you're a no person, think about doing something where you do go outside if it actually calls to you on a deeper level, because what we're really here to do is experience things we have not experienced before. So if you've been a no person for most of your life, think about the opportunity. If you've been like, I'm scared to date, I don't want to do this, whatever, all these different things. Sometimes we're doing either a yes or a no out of a fear of being hurt. Sometimes we're in our yes because we're scared we'll be, not a part of it and people will talk crap about us or whatever if we don't go out there. And sometimes we're in a no because we're also in a fear of being hurt. I don't want to put myself out there because I might be hurt. And the more you do something out of fear, the more you're going to actually keep your old story stagnant inside of your body. So it's just really important to mix up your energy and do something that's the opposite of what you've been doing. So if you're mostly, constantly in a state of introversion, sometimes, yes, that's great to be that. Sometimes if it doesn't call to you to move forward in a different way, and it calls you to move forward staying that way, that's awesome. But I can think of some people I know in times where I've been that person that was stagnant and saying, I'm just saying no, and I'm not going to enter the world. And I also was stagnant by only entering the world. So if you've been a no person your whole life, think about saying yes for just some variety, to prove to yourself maybe you can go out there and you'll undo this part of you that's scared that you'll get hurt and you'll free yourself. So my offer today is, if you've been more of a yes person your whole life, understand that you might be empowered by saying no to some stuff because it might make room for a higher alignment with yourself. And if you've said no your entire life, think about saying yes to a few things. Go out a little more. Go do something that you haven't done before. Because the real goal is to end your old stagnant story. And you do it by taking actions that are different than what you've been before. Because most of our actions are just the response to our old story and us being enslaved to that old story. And our job is to do a different thing just to free ourselves energetically from that old story. So that's my offer. Just do something that's opposite today. Be something different and take it however you want. You don't have to, but if it calls to you, try it. If it's scary but kind of exciting, try it. That's a big sign. It's scary to your stagnant story, but it's not scary to what you are at your core. So thanks so much. Have a good day.